city of Denver, the state of Colorado, you guys have been fucking amazing for the last 10 years.
Let me start off with a Twitch feed this morning, and I got to get the whole name right. Mile High Hockey Lab. From Spectrum Community Services Studios in Colorado, USA, this is the Mile High Hockey Lab.
Well, hello and welcome to the Mile High Hockey Lab. My name is Adrian Hernandez. I am here today with Jackie K, Evan Liu, and Brennan Votes. We are here today to talk all things Colorado Avalanche on behalf of Mile High Hockey and, of course, Hockey Mountain High for Evan and Mr. Brennan. Lots to talk about today. Probably going to be kind of a feisty episode with the Avs getting thumped by the Penguins last night. There's some reoccurring themes that I think we should talk about. Brendan, that's a wink to you in terms of one of your topics from the Friday episode. We'll get into some of what Nathan Mackinnon had to say following that 7-2 loss, and look ahead at this week, do our bold prediction thing and all of that. But while I have your attention, head on over to the website, milehighhockey.com, where you can find all of our written material. Head on over to Hockey Mountain High as well, where you can find the works of Evan Liu and Brennan Boat. Be sure to like, subscribe to this content, and share with your fellow Avalanche fans. Okay, deep breath. In more way than one, right? Like, let's just all take a deep breath. The Avalanche got thumped last night, 7-2 at the hands of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
I think that's putting it mildly.
Yeah. Evgeny Malkin returned from his suspension and immediately started to go full scorched earth on the Colorado Avalanche. And we saw the net front issues re-emerge in that loss. Jackie, I want to start with you. It's getting to the point when all the losses feel like they're very similar to where you can't just say, crumple it up, forget about it, and move on. Is that your take too?
I think this team's been pretty much playing the same movie for the last 4 seasons.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's just kind of like maybe a different chapter, different version of it, but to me it's not even like, oh, it feels similar because of the last month or because of this calendar year. Like, this is what it looked like the last years. So I just, it doesn't surprise me. I figure we're going to be very negative, probably more negative collectively than usual, but I bet they're going to play their best game against Dallas tomorrow. Like, I fully expect they're going to get their, together and be focused and have energy and purpose. And that's just what they do. But then there's going to be a lot of other games they don't really care about. And, I don't think this will be the last game that looks like the Penguins game. So, I mean, to me, it's pretty much par for the course.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it, because, like, you're probably right. Like, and then everyone will clip this episode and be like, look at the Mile High Hockey Lab over analyzing and yada yada. But
that's why I wanted to put it right up front.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna play. I'm not guaranteeing a win. I mean, my little rematch would be concerned because they pulled it out last time, but I think they're gonna look good. Again, I mean, everyone's like, oh, I don't want to watch the Dallas game. They're gonna be terrible. It's like, no, come on now. They're gonna make people eat their words, and they're going to come out and they're going to play well, but it doesn't change anything. Like I said, my opinions are long held over years and years. So it's going to take a lot to change my mind.
Well, that's what you said. Your opinion is not that fickle. I think that's your shirt right there, because you need supporting proof, and it needs to be from a large sample. And that's where I'm getting kind of worried. Brandon, I want to go to you next, because I shared a clip today of last Friday's episode, which was you bringing up the graphic, which showed the net front chances for Edmonton at the time, which included 2 goals for Nugent Hopkins and 1 for Connor McDavid. McDavid's not the kind of guy you leave alone in front of the net. And really, neither is Evgeny Malkin or Brian Rust or, the litany of guys who did it in last night's game. The thing that's been kind of highlighted to me is there's often in times two guys marking the puck or the guy with the puck and completely leaving that guy unmarked for the opposition in the net front. And I've also heard Mackinnon say that it's kind of the 11 and 7 isn't good to him, that mixing up those pairs can screw up the cohesion of the group. How much of that is present in these struggles? But at the same time, should we be concerned considering all 7 guys are healthy and in a 7-11 situation, it looks like this? Oh, Brandon, sorry, you're muted.
Okay, well, I'll just say they've been mixing up pairs for years, so I mean they should be used to that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they really haven't been mixing up pairs this year. They've been keeping them pretty consistent this year. So the fact that they've been, finally mixing them up this now, and you're starting to see even worse defensive play, makes it a problem. And I think Nathan Mackinnon was trying to say that it's like, okay, now we're playing a different system, 11 and 7, which we haven't all season, and that's become the problem. All 4 of the first goals were below the dots. Right. So that, to me, that says that that's a defensive problem. That's not a forward problem trying to take care of getting the puck out of the zone. That's a center and the two defensemen trying to get the puck out of the zone, and they're not doing that job. Yeah. Now, we all know how bad Nathan Mackinnon can be on the back check. Sure. But, not to place the blame just solely on him, but
he's been good in it too. Like, I don't think you're wrong. I think it has more to do with what Jackie points to, which is like, there's going to be games where you're not really going to get the version of the Avalanche that is their best. And obviously that's already true, Evan, when you don't have Mackinnon and you don't have Landeskog. That with or without Landeskog win and loss record just keeps getting more and more obvious that the Avs are a better team when Gabe Landeskog is on the ice. And we've seen the Avs struggle going into the playoffs before, to include the 2022 season, but also the years after, some of them. Are you concerned with kind of this being a growing trend, or is this more of that humanoid response to maybe not having as much on the table?
No, that's definitely a concern. I mean, they went through it for 3 years without Landeskog, right? Like, you would have thought that sometime in those 3 years that they would have figured it out, but they haven't. And I don't know what it is. It feels like that Landeskog should not make that much of a drastic change. Not saying that he's not a good player or something like that, because he is, but it just seems like that's something that Colorado would have figured out by now to be resilient through, because they had to do it for 3 years without it.
I feel like it's a little confirmation bias too. I mean, not that he's not important, but I mean, his injuries have been more lately rather than before. And yes, you can say like, okay, well, they're not playing well because he's not there. But I hate using the injuries as an excuse, because they will be missing guys in the playoffs.
They will be, yeah. And that's the huge concern right now.
And then look at what Dallas is going through, what other teams are going through. If we're all like, oh my God, they can't function because they don't have Mackinnon and Landeskog, then that's a problem. Then that already means that you're thin.
That's the other thing too. I want to touch on the Dallas stuff that's kind of been talked about already. They are so lucky that Utah beat Dallas on Monday night. They are so lucky, because if Dallas had come in to tomorrow's game only 1 point behind the Avs, who have been far and away the most dominant team throughout the entire year and are right there at their heels with a chance to go above them for the first time in maybe the entire season. I don't know. Maybe they were ahead at 1 point at the start of the season. But if they came into tomorrow night's game with a chance to go ahead, they were going to be firing. They're still going to be firing. Dallas is the hottest team in the league right now, and that is very concerning, I think.
They got a loss to avenge, too. So I think they're going to be on the same plane of motivation.
That's beautiful segue and full circle thing for you to bring up, Evan, because we also talked about on Friday, like whoever the Avs start against Dallas is probably who they view as the starter, quote unquote, right now. And we kind of got confirmation of that ahead of the game last night when Bednar said, "Hey, look, it feels like it's Scott Wedgwood's net, but we're not like giving up on Blackwood. This is a process sort of thing." And then, of course, the game after an episode where we talk about Wedgwood not ever being pulled for Blackwood, it happens.
I
In the
know. I
first
thought that
period.
was funny too. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, they just had to prove to us that
Yeah.
it does happen.
Yeah, but that brings me back to the full circleness of it with the goaltending. We know what a goaltending crisis looks like. That's what my article today that I just popped out right before the episode, which is it net front or net minding, basically. And we know when net minding is an issue. We've seen the most blatant form of that. That's not what is happening. Both Blackwood and Wedgwood have plus goals saved above expected numbers. Both when it's like an unblocked high danger chance. Like in a lot of these scenarios, these dudes are putting up numbers that depict individual performance being very good. And I would make the argument that early in the season, Scott Wedgwood stole a lot more games than people are willing to admit, and covered up a lot of the issues on the back end for the Avalanche that are now starting to be exposed, and exposed in particular by elite talent. You know, you have McDavid in the first game that kind of this really felt apparent. And then, of course, you have Malkin in the last game against Pittsburgh. So you're not going to face the untalented squads in the playoffs. So that's where my spidey senses start to tingle a little bit. And I'm like, man, this has recipe for disaster, because if they don't flip the switch at the right time, or if let me put it this way, if the switch stays unflipped at the worst time, they could find themselves in a hole that they cannot dig out of. And that's my major concern. And it doesn't really matter which round. Like that's the sort of thing that could happen in the first round. It could happen in the Western Conference Final. It's just there needs to be more of a consistent effort on the back end. Bednar took a timeout and was pretty livid after that third goal. So I think he agrees. It's just a matter of do we believe? What do we believe? What is the true version of this Avalanche team? Is it the version that will likely get against Dallas tomorrow?
I mean, they'll probably have their focus and their effort and their motivation in the playoffs. It's just, it's funny. I read your article before we went on, and I think you made a good point about, is the defense different? Is the goaltending different? And I want to point out, like, as much as Georgiev was vilified and he did lose his confidence near the end, a lot of the same things happened when there was no defending, when there was players shooting on him. He became the scapegoat. Like, he was a very good goaltender. So I think it's fair on him to wear some of it, but just to say, like, oh, we know what terrible looks like. It's like he was also left hung out to dry, and it snowballed. And, these things, when they play poor defensively, look very similar. I want to point out, like, to me, it looked like Pittsburgh was very, had a very concerted effort to have those cherry picking, those breakdowns, those breakaways. Yeah. Like, that was a strategy coming in, and it's hard to stop because, they're kind of selling out for it. But what you do, how the Avs would counteract that in years past was because they had defensemen who could skate. You see where I'm going with this? And now we have a lot different makeup. And yeah, Kale and Taze got burned a few times, and I don't think either of them have been good enough defensively. But then when you see like Manson and Burns get burned, and it's like they're not going to be able to recover. I remember when teams used to do that, they used to stick Byram high in the zone, and then he would just go after who was ever cherry picking. Well, you can't do that anymore because you don't have those guys anymore. So if you want to say what's changed, I really think the makeup of this defense has changed a lot. And I know people think I'm insane when I say this isn't the greatest decor of all time. And I don't care that through their whole year, which includes November when they won the cup and they have these great expected goals and the lowest goals against in the league, that's great. I have eyes and I've seen what is happening.
Sure.
And if
No,
you isolate the statistics over this calendar year or last couple weeks, you can see there is a decline in their
Yep.
statistics.
Well, it's not only defense; it's the way that the Pittsburgh was even attacking the zone defensively. They were taking away the pass in the middle of the zone, and that's where Nate tries to always hit up Natchez and
Yeah, and they watch
you know,
tape, and it's like
they obviously watch tape.
and that's when you feel like, on one hand, the Avs need to do what they do best, but sometimes it does feel like they get scouted, and it's like, hello. And it seems to take them, like, it can happen in a playoff series and they'll adjust eventually, but you might be down a couple games by then. And that feels like that happens over and over again. So if Pittsburgh wanted to be really aggressive and that was the game plan, good on them. And that happens. Sometimes you have a game where there's a game plan. I think I remember Dallas a couple years ago. They just totally sold out to do that. And the Avs were just like frozen because they weren't ready for it. But teams do this to them, and I think they are finding certain weaknesses to exploit. It's just a matter of how do the Avs counteract it, and they have different competitive advantages now.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to see it. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, there's no way this Avalanche team wins a cup. I'm just saying that it's going to come different this time. And like I said in the last episode, Evan, the way we viewed goaltending going into 2022 might be how we view the defensive group this season, which is they kind of just have to be good enough 4 through 6 and in their matchups. And if that happens, I think that they're a team plenty capable of winning the cup. Where I'm concerned, Evan, is that it kind of feels like the Avs made more lateral move in that defensive group. To Jackie's point, I'm not sure that I look at this group of 6, compare it to last year's, and say it's better. Moreover, I'm not sure I look at it compared to what it was before the deadline and before the Gerard for Kulak deal and say, oh yeah, this is better. What is your response to that?
Well, I think your assessment's right in that sense of like we'll kind of see this 2022 goaltending situation like we see this year's defensive situation. Because obviously moving Gerard, it still hurts me, right? Like I think I know I said it forever ago, is that if all the Sammy G fans, if there are no Sammy G fans, then I'm dead, right? So that still remains the case. I'm glad he got a nice welcome back last night, even though he wasn't playing.
And he wasn't healthy scratch. Sorry to disappoint you folks.
Yeah.
It's
not a healthy scratch.
I don't know. It's a tough situation to be in because you obviously have 2 really, really great defenders in Cale Makar and Devon Toews, right? But at the same time, if they're getting burned like they have the last few games, and you can't rely on them to play 35, 40 minutes a night. Like you just can't do that. So it's going to be tough. I think what I'm intrigued with, and I have to go back and I'd have to go look and try and find fancy stats, whatever, is seeing how good Brent Burns has been in the playoffs with Carolina, because Carolina's made some deep runs. They've been, just a perennial contender out east, and Burns has been part of that, for a while now, and he was kind of the train that's just been chugging along. I know there's obviously been a lot of question marks and people, I guess, putting him as the new scapegoat and saying that, Burns hasn't been good, he needs to be sat and rested, which isn't happening. But seeing how how Burns's game has stepped up when it does come to crunch time, like the playoffs, right? I'm intrigued to see how that is. Obviously, very different role in Carolina versus what he has now in Colorado. So I'm sure that there's going to be differences, and he's a couple of years older now. So that could be an X factor on that defensive line if he steps up. Same with Manson, but again, he was a very different player in 2022 than he is now. So I don't know. It's
funny. Usually what Manson plays better is when he plays less. And then everyone's like, Manson's such a revelation.
Oh, and Burns has been fighting a couple things. He's been fighting injuries. He's been fighting illnesses, and he's the type of player who will play through all of it.
Sure. And I think look no further than his Iron Man quest in terms of proof to what you're saying, Brennan. But that brings me to my next point, which is that's kind of a little bit of a handcuffing part of this whole situation is you really can't scratch Brent Burns because then you end the Iron Man streak. And if you do that, you're those guys, you know what I mean? And then certain acquisitions in the future, whatever, it might have no consequence, but I just don't think that's in the fabric of
they'd
what
never
the
do
Avalanche
it.
will
They'd
do.
come up with something. Then they'd say that the doctor shut him down or something. There would be a whole story about that.
But I think in a world where the Avalanche found a way to add Kulak to the group so that they could flex a Manson, or I guess it can't be Burns, but if they could flex Manson to 7D to a healthy scratch every once in a while, then I would look at this defensive group and go, okay, maybe. But I just don't feel like there's even a better option than Burns. I mean, Blankenberg hasn't had a lot of time,
He
but
hasn't been that
no,
impressive.
they don't have better. They made their bed there.
yeah. And that's where I'm concerned. It's like, this is the group of 7. This is who we're going to get.
Well, is Blankenberg he's not really much of an upgrade from Gerard, so why would you keep him in?
He's not even close to an upgrade from
I know.
Gerard.
Well, no, and I'm not saying that I hate Gerard. I love Gerard. I love the way he played. I was always a fan of Gerard. That's why me and Evan are at the bottom of the screen right now. So, but that's why Blankenberg is the 7th.
Yeah.
I mean,
smaller of all of them.
You just need to watch yesterday's highlights to know why he's the 7th D.
Yeah, exactly. He's Temu Gerard. That's pretty funny right there. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said, this is a team who's won 44 of 66 games. Some people might be tuning into this program and going, what in the world are these people even talking about? But this is what happens when you're immersed into the analytics of a team and you've witnessed what we've witnessed year in and year out as it pertains to the same sort of glaring issues coming to the forefront. One of the things that I wanted to talk about before we turn the page to kind of the games to come is Nathan Mackinnon calling for more meetings, which I thought was kind of a unique thing from him. Just how much he spoke in general after the game against Pittsburgh was sort of unique to Mackinnon. But him saying, we need to do more to figure this out. Do you guys take that as kind of like a calling out of the coaching staff that maybe there's not enough of a conscientious effort, or is that more just of a reflection sort of thing? I'll let you take this one, Evan.
I was gonna say, I missed him saying that. I saw his comments about the 11-7, that he didn't like that and how that situation was going. But more meetings is intriguing because I think we've discussed this too, is that he doesn't seem like the guy that would show up to meetings. He just kind of would just show up and be like, I'm going to do my job. And that's it. Yeah. And I'm going to put up 4 points tonight because that's just what he does.
Yeah.
I don't need no stinking
meetings with the third pair and the.
But I think he's right, though, that there needs to be a little bit more analysis and trying to figure out how to get through this tough time. Right. Because I mean, it's not getting any easier from here. All the games are going to count a whole lot more now, especially with Dallas right behind you, right?
Yep.
But then, of course, once it's mission 16 wins, that's it. You lose 4 games, and that's it. You're done in the first round.
Yep.
I'd have to go and look at this season stretch and see if they've even lost 4 games in 7 games. But
yes. So the quote was from Yahoo Sports as well as WKYC, and it was as follows: we need everyone on the same page. We need more communication before the game, meetings, really know what we're going to do over and over again. He also noted the flow's off for sure. A lot of new faces. I think lines and D pairs need to sit down and go through clips and figure out what our system is right now. The chemistry matters. It's no one's fault. It's just different. New teams and a lot of new line combinations lately for everybody. It's hard.
I have 2 thoughts on that. One is Mackinnon always knows when the spotlight's on. They were on national TV. They were on ESPN. And people are like, wow, he was so thoughtful. Why did he sit there and talk? Come on. Let's connect the dots. And also that he knows there's a perception of him and him, speaking after a bad loss. I'm not saying what he's saying is like all isn't true. Mackinnon knows what's up, okay?
Well, also, PR happens to pull him out of the room before all the media gets back there too. So that helps. Ado knows that a little too. So
his availability is typically not. We'll just put it that way.
And then suddenly ESPN's in the building and he's available. Let's just put it that way. So the other thing is I find, not that it's not true, but the whole like, oh, we don't have cohesion. We don't have chemistry. This is why the deadline sucks. This is why you don't just randomly add people.
Back to your thing, right?
Yeah, it's just mind-boggling where it's like, wow, there's new players to adjust to. Okay, so let's not do rentals. Let's not make these trades. It's just like, this is what happens. And then, like I said, the whole injury thing, like, oh, we've had to have different lines because of injuries. Like, just really, let's look at what the rest of the league has had to deal with. Yeah, it sucks, but
he's not talking though about Kadri. He's talking. I don't know who he's talking. I guess Blankenberg, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, then there you go.
Kulak,
that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they should have got Kadri. Maybe it should have happened in a different way.
That one fits your requirement of needing familiarity. So I don't think that's the one you're talking
and getting
about.
Somebody that should matter. Yeah, I'm not really necessarily speaking about Kadri. Maybe the circumstances should have lined up differently. But no, I'm not saying like, oh, they shouldn't have. They should have
that
passed
one makes
on that
sense.
Because
yeah.
The other stuff is just so dumb. It's just so dumb that you have this impulse. You have to change things. You have to have veterans. I mean, when you pull a guy out that has been on your team for over 8 seasons on defense, that has played a ton of minutes. I don't think I brought up in this program. Gerard was 4th on the team, not defense, on the team in 5-on-5 ice time.
Yep.
You pull that out of your. I know he was being marginalized and dismissed. Like, oh, we don't need him anymore. He's just a 3rd pair guy. 5-on-5, he's out there. And you take that out of the lineup, that makes an impact.
Yep. I agree with you. And when you talk about cohesion, well, there it is, like you're saying. Like, you had that and you gave it up. And that's where I point to the D group, because like I said, it just feels more lateral than forward in terms of the moves they made. And at that point,
I would even say a step back. Yeah, it's not even lateral. It's a step back.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that's a reoccurring theme for a lot of the Cup champions as of late, is that the defensive group is a part of their competitive advantage. There's a million ways to skin a cat. Equifinality is a thing, but it's just hard for me to buy in. We know how defensive hockey works to win. Brennan, you know how defensive hockey works towards winning. It's important.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah. Well, let's move on and let's talk about the Avs playing Dallas tomorrow, as well as the Blackhawks. We probably will have our episode before the Blackhawks game. We will have our episode before the Blackhawks game anyway. So all we have to talk about right now is the Dallas Stars. But while I have the 211 of you who are watching live, I'll have your attention. Please like and subscribe to this content. Be sure to head on over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, where you can find our full catalog. All 133 episodes are in the catalog now, but it will be 134 as of tomorrow after I upload this one. It's been a fun ride where we've chronologically followed the Avalanche on a weekly basis for like 4 years now. So if you are interested in seeing just how far we've come, please head on over to our YouTube channel. Every person who subscribes to our YouTube channel is doing us a huge service. So be sure to head over there first for your content. Turn your alerts on so you know that we're live, and know that we are live every Tuesday and Friday at 3:45 p.m. Mountain. Now let's talk Avs versus Dallas. Quick question. I haven't heard anything. Is Mikko back for Dallas? No Mikko, and likely still no Mikko, or is there traction on that?
No,
he's like 10 days out as of yesterday.
Okay, so no Mikko, so we can all take a deep breath a little bit in terms of that. But Matt Duchene is still a Dallas Star, and Sam Steele is, and they seem to still be lining it up in the absence of Mikko Rantanen. They just received their first loss in, I think, like 21 calendar days or something crazy like that. It's probably wrong.
Regulation loss because the Avs beat them, I think, in that time span. And beyond,
they were the only team to do it. So the Stars have been on a heater, and thus we are in a situation where the Avs, even though they've led and gotten to every increment of 10 points first all season, it's entirely possible that they don't win the President's Trophy and don't win their division with just a 3-point lead on the Dallas Stars. Jackie, I want to start with you. You think that the Avs are going to come out gangbusters for this one, but who's your goalie?
Oh, well, I've been Team Wedgwood all along, so I think it should be him. I probably would guess it's him. If Blackwood had pulled out a miracle or something, maybe they would have gone with that momentum. But it is interesting how Bednar definitely defended Wedgwood a lot more than he did Blackwood.
Yep.
So I think they've sort of made that decision, even though I still don't quite believe it's permanent. I still believe they have a lot of reasons to want to make the Blackwood thing happen long term. But yeah, Wedgwood's my guy. If the Cup Finals started tomorrow, I'd play Wedgwood.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think that's kind of the overall consensus, and then he gets chased, so that's fun. Thanks, guys, for that. But this whole thing with the Dallas Stars, obviously, it's all about the playoffs. So whoever wins and loses this game, it's important because of seeding, right, Evan? Bednar put it this way. He just thinks it's really important to try to win all the time. And achieving the President's Trophy and coming in first, he says, is important to him. At this point, with Lehkonen and Landeskog down, we're seeing these defensive struggles kind of peek their heads out. And that President's Trophy and Central race really does feel like it's going to take some serious effort in these last 15 or so games. Where are you at in terms of its importance? Are you still thinking that the Avs should do their best in terms of going all out for those?
I'm right there with them still. Yeah, I'm still right there with them. It's going to be vital. It's one less round that you might have to deal with Minnesota or Dallas. Granted, the current matchups that I think the Avs would have right now, I think it's leaning towards Utah or Seattle. I think San Jose is still in the mix, but Utah and Seattle are a little bit scary. Still haunted by 2023, of course, with the Kraken. And then Utah, I mean, I know Jackie's said it time and time again, is that they've always played a tough game against the Avs. And they have, to even dating back to when they were the Arizona Coyotes, RIP. There's always been something a little feisty between those two organizations. So those two scare me, but not as much as facing Dallas or Minnesota in the first round, So I think it's still super important, super vital. It's really, I know we've talked about this before. It's really just such a bummer that two of those three teams in the Central are going to be out after the second round. It's just brutal. So
I'd usually say that selling out for the President's Trophy is just dumb, but like I get the advantage of having a better round one matchup, even though it could be, like we said, it could be careful what you wish for. It could be Utah. It could be Edmonton. That might not be the most ideal round one matchup either. So you never know. But I mean, yes, they should try to win the division, but like they've already won the President's Trophy. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think they need that best regular season team ever validation. I think they have enough of that. But
they're not winning the Presidents if they lose the Central.
Well, obviously, but I don't know.
Which is crazy.
I still honestly, if I had to bet, I still think they will.
Yeah.
I think they'll get it. I just don't know ultimately how critical it is, but I get why they want it.
Yeah. I also saw this stat today, is that the Avs have the 30th I guess the 30th hardest strength of schedule left or something like that. And Dallas has the 5th hardest schedule left. for the rest of the year. So,
which is interesting because we talked about when they came back from the break that they were playing a bunch of Eastern Conference teams, and it felt like the East was just like largely more competitive. And it's funny because when you mentioned that, I think, well, we play like Dallas and Minnesota the most in terms of like the full scope of the schedule in this short little time frame, but the others must be kind of stinkers too.
maybe I'm mistaken then. Hold on. Let me look
No,
at the
no.
rest of the
I
schedule.
think
saw
you're
that
right.
tweet. I saw that
Yeah, I
tweet.
think you're right. Yeah.
And I even looked at it.
I was going to say that they played Dallas 3 times in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they play them 2 more times. I mean, still think they have another Vegas. I think what skews it is they have 2 more Winnipeg. I don't think they played Calgary at all.
Yeah, they have
mistaken.
two Calgary games. Or no,
St. Louis.
3 Calgary games.
Okay.
They have two against St. Louis. So I guess I can see where that might be coming from. But here's the problem: the Avs playing down to competition. And also, what do I say about rematches? It is not ideal for the Avs to play Calgary 3 times in 2 weeks. It is not ideal for the Avs to play Winnipeg on a home and home. It is not ideal for the Avs to play St. Louis in a home and home.
No. You got to win the first one then, basically, because at least in those 3 games in a week, in a short period of time scenario, because then you at least get 2 of them by your logic. So I hear you there. Brendan, I'm curious where you're at. The Avs, like I said, have been the first to every increment of 10 points this season, with Dallas sitting at 94 and Avs at 97 currently. Do you think they'll be the first team to 100 points?
I think if they can beat Dallas tomorrow, yeah, absolutely. But with the way they've been playing, it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, because if Dallas beats Colorado tomorrow, obviously that puts them at 96 and 97. And the Avs may still have a game in hand. But then that strength of schedule, Evan, we'll find out about that. And to Jackie's point, I mean, we saw Colorado play down to Winnipeg not too long ago. Brendan, what is your level of concern on that with like playing down to the lesser competition on the way out, especially with like not much to play for if they're still
they didn't play down to Winnipeg. They just got smoked by Winnipeg. and then Chicago on Friday. That's not going to be an easy one because Chicago has actually been playing somewhat well. So shockingly well. And I don't know if you guys heard about what Connor Bedard did the other night in Utah, how he trolled a fan. It was fantastic.
No, I missed it. What happened?
So apparently some fan was yelling out down the Zamboni tunnel at Bedard saying, Logan Cooley is your daddy.
Oh my God.
At Bedard, and Bedard made eye contact with the guy before he came back out on the ice. So Bedard nailed the 3rd period goal to tie the game, goes into the corner, makes eye contact with the guy as he slams into the glass. And then they switch ends in OT, and Bedard wins the OT goal or scores the OT goal, goes back to that other corner, and then slams into the corner and yells an inappropriate B word and yells at the fan, making eye contact again at the fan. So Bedard's getting a little bit gritty.
He's feisty.
Yeah, he's feisty. Yeah, he's getting a little chippy here.
I dig
I'm sure that dude was old, and that's really creepy. You're talking about like 20-year-olds.
Yeah,
the little gross.
Yeah, PSA: don't yell at kids. You know,
yeah.
That's.
I mean, and they're professional adult players. I'm not trying to say that, but it's just like.
No, I get you.
Like that story
I get you.
sounds creepy.
There are some
to me
signs
too.
that are out. There are some signs out there for the kids in San Jose that make me very uncomfortable. So we'll just put it that way. There's definitely some stinkers out there in terms of fans. It's funny to see that. I remember that story too of one of the Avalanche fans pointing at, I can't remember what team it was, but a guy got hit with the puck and he was bleeding. And one of the Avalanche fans is across the glass. And he looks at him and he points at where he's bleeding.
The Chicago way.
It was.
Ago?
It was Chicago.
Yeah, it was Chicago again.
And then obviously later in the game, the puck clears the glass, hits the fan in the head, and he's bleeding. And the Blackhawks guy comes over and points at him. So it's kind of fun when we see those dynamics. But keep it appropriate out there, fans. Let's keep it real when we're in the stands. Drink some beer, have a good time, and be happy. That's all I gotta say. But I want to get back to the Avs and Dallas game for a second here, Jackie, because Dallas has been getting a lot of support from their depth contributions. And still, yet again, some younger guys are a part of that. The keys to victory to beating Dallas right now, can they skate with the Avalanche with their injury woes, or do the Avs need to lean on speed and lean on getting ahead since they haven't lost when they have a lead heading into the third?
Yeah, I mean, those all sound like good keys to me. I thought you were going in a different direction. I thought we were going to have the Brindley conversation. Are we going to have
Let's
the Brindley conversation?
Yeah, let's have it. That's fine. If those are good keys, cool. Good keys to the game. Let's talk about Gavin Brindley.
No, I mean,
The
yeah,
floor
I
is yours.
agree. Getting a lead would be ideal. Defending well, good goaltending. It all goes hand in hand. But
Sure.
yeah, sure, a lead, put pressure on them. The Avs obviously still have good players. We want some big goals from Kadri and Natchez, McKinnon. Hopefully McCarr gets going. So yeah, I don't want to completely curtail your keys to the game.
No, that's fine. No, I mean, it's an easy one because you sounded just like a generic player interview, when you agreed. And then I realized so did I when I made the claim. So let us move on to the Gavin Brindley conversation because that's a good one to have. I want you to put it forth, though.
It's funny because I'm the prospect person, quote unquote. I don't necessarily. Brindley is not my hill to die on. He is not like my ultimate. That ship has sailed. I don't really believe in anybody anymore. So yeah, so there's none of that. This isn't like ultimate burning love, but it's just funny the narrative about these young players and that if they were playing, they'd get more minutes if they were playing better, and they need to earn it, and we get the meritocracy debate and blah blah blah. And it's funny to me that, and they have a need for wingers. They have a need for wingers to make an impact, and he's getting put in the garbage bag line and not doing anything. So it's funny to me that he scores the game-winning goal against Chicago, which we discussed. 3 minutes of ice time. Didn't earn him more opportunity. Yesterday, I don't know how many people turned off the TV, but on the Burns goal, who had the primary assist? It was Brindley. And
Great
who was
entry.
he playing with? It was not the garbage line.
No.
He was playing with Nelson and Kadri. Didn't earn him more opportunity. So, what are we doing here? What is the point? So, I thought when you were talking about Dallas's depth and youth, if you're going to skate with Dallas, you need that. Brindley's pretty much the only young guy that's ever going to play on this team. And I know that I've been saying he's going to get sent down and they don't care. And I get it. He's still there. We'll see for how long. But yes, I've been wrong that he was on his way out. He's still there. So there's still a reason why he's there. But you have to use him.
It's funny because I'm thinking about this is exactly what you said about Team Canada after they lost.
With Celebrini. Well, I wanted them to use Celebrini, and clearly they did.
But I mean, you were saying in the gold medal game in particular, they didn't use the whole roster, and that is a thing. Yeah, and that happens too often here in Colorado in games that we're told are meaningless.
So right. So you need wingers.
Whose play Brindley reminds me of, kind of, is Gabriel Bork, if you guys remember him.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. I think he's a little more skilled. I think.
He's got a lot more skill. It's just he's a heavy hitter. Doesn't score much, but he knows his role on the ice, and then gets off the ice. Just doesn't get very much ice time.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting, Jackie. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is my question. What are we doing here? We need wingers right now. He's shown that he can do something. People will say, oh, he hasn't done anything. He doesn't earn it. I think he's shown through a couple data points recently that he's doing something when he gets the chance.
Yeah.
He needs way more of a chance.
We have a new commenter today, end of signal.com. Thank you so much for your contribution to the program. He says Brinley had 13 shifts and played 10-20 last night. They also lost 7-2. So I'm not saying it's Brinley's fault, but I'm saying it's possible that the bench was rolling 4 lines because the outcome was pretty much determined by the
3.66 lines with 11 forwards. So I do want to touch on
He should have been at like 17 minutes. So like 10 minutes isn't like, oh wow, he got up to 10. Like
this friendly thing is just so weird too, because you think back to earlier this year that Bednar was touting him as like, oh, he's a future top 6 winger, right? And like he's gonna get opportunities, and like we're so excited to have this young prospect and be able to utilize him, right? Then how come Yoel freaking Kiviranta is playing ahead of him? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And I know that it's all he loves playing his veterans and guys that he can trust, and all these sorts of things. But like you're saying, Jack, you have a guy who has the skill, has the talent, has shown several times throughout this year. Granted, it's been kind of on off throughout the year. He started off really hot, got that new contract, and then kind of teetered off, right?
I mean, but what a contract. Woo!
But then has, he's kind of popped up about here and there. That Chicago goal, one of the lead up to the goal last night, like it's there. The opportunities are there, but they're just limited and they're not being given to him. I don't know why. It's so weird. He really should be playing up though. And Jackie makes such a good point about needing wingers. And Brinley, I would imagine at least, gives the Avs a different look and therefore makes them a little bit more challenging to play against when he's up there versus if he's down in the bottom 6. So, I mean, that could help, Oh, sorry. It can help stop this skid, that the Avs are on. Granted, I don't think his defense, isn't going to do much, but like you can at least try and outscore your defensive problems with him up there. So
I feel like I just want to say him and Bardakov. It feels like there's more factors at play, right?
Agreed.
We all want to believe in this whole meritocracy thing, and like, oh, they made our team because they were just so amazing, and it has felt like there's something else pushing it, like that Bednar wouldn't play them if it was up to him. And the funny thing is they didn't even paper Bardakov down, and there's a new rule, you can't even go down.
Yeah, he has to stay up now.
Yeah, they have to. Yeah. It used to be that strict. I mean, the whole part about the AHL playoffs and everything, sure, but it's like you can't go at all now. And so that's kind of hilarious. They didn't even paper him.
End of Signal in the comments is mentioning that Brinley paid 10-20 and had 4-4 and 5 in the third. That's a convenient pool that you're drawing from because in the other 10 games, he only got over 10 minutes one time, and it was against Minnesota. And in all of the other games, the game that he had a goal in, the game-winning goal, Jackie is 100% correct. He played 3 minutes and 26 seconds of ice time in a game where he scored the game winner. So it is a consistent thing that he's getting what you would call throwaway minutes. And I'm with you, Jackie. Like, flex the depth, especially right now. Like, I thought the whole point of being this incredibly deep team up front, Brendan, was that they would have the ability to roll all 4 lines, but it still feels like we're leaning on the big guns, especially in games where they lose
4 lines.
Oh, well, you see, it was the Winnipeg game that Blankenberg. Sorry, I am in traffic. Blankenberg sat the entire third period. Yeah. It's like, then, okay, he got like maybe 5 or something like minutes before that, and then he sat the rest of the game. I feel like they're not utilizing the players that the way they should be, if that makes sense. And Brinley is a classic case of the hey, we're just going to have them fill the throwaway minutes. And my piece on Sunday about Cooper Gay is another one.
Mm-hmm.
How he's not playing. And he's only playing because the Eagles are so injured.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
Yeah,
that happened to be his birthday, by the way. So poor timing on our publishing.
He did play
there.
though.
Yeah,
I
he
thought it was
did.
funny. He actually did play that game that day.
Yeah,
Well-
but we also published on the wrong day.
more from more from endofsignal.com, which thank you so much for joining the program and giving your 2 cents. We're here to hear you out. That's what this is all about. He says Brindley got 4 points, 4 power play shifts. Keevy had 3 PK shifts. And I agree, like that's good. That's what we're calling for. I want to see Brindley in those opportunities where he can let his skill flash. But I think what we're calling for is a more obvious effort to work him into the 5-on-5 strategy of this Avalanche team and make him a mainstay. Yeah.
It's like even bigger picture than that. What is the point? Like
Mhm.
where are we going with this guy? Like
Yeah.
I get that he's young, but it's not like you have years and years with the runway. Like they have to know what your purpose is, your role, why you're here. When they plan over the summer, what slot are you taking? Who are we not signing because we can count on you to do X, Y, Z?
Right.
So it's bigger than that. Like I get it. You could say the defense isn't good enough to play more. Every game is so important, blah, blah, blah. But this is why I'm saying, like, big picture, it does matter.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. There. We'll get another installment of that against Dallas because you'd think that whoever gets ice time tomorrow is viewed as kind of the go-to. So we'll see how that shakes out, and hopefully we can see something that reinforces what endofsignal.com is seeing, and we can say, all right, we were wrong. Brindley is getting his fair shot. But right now, I'm with you, Jackie. I'm hoping that he gets a little more time. But let's do our bold predictions and give new ones so that I can get you beautiful people out of here. I appreciate you 3 for joining me today. Just so you folks know, we do bold predictions every week. Send them in right now, and I can make sure I give you your buzzer or your ding. I'm going to recap ours from last week, then I'll run the sponsor and get everybody's for this week. Evan, you said that the Avalanche would shut out the Winnipeg Jets. Unfortunately, they did not do that. They also lost by 2 goals.
It was almost the other way around if it wasn't for that last minute goal. I mean, holy cow. That was almost another there will be a shutout, reverse, back right into my face. So
Which, folks, if you aren't a longtime listener, back in the day, Evan once made a bold prediction where he just said there will be a shutout, and then the Avs got shut out. And
I think it was against Winnipeg too, if I remember correctly. So
that's funny. Well, Jackie, you said that one of your topics would score Mr. Bardakov or Bardakov.
I was trying to help him out, but then he played 3 minutes. So
and you also said, as a side note, my boy is Velarde. He didn't score either, so I can't give you a half ding. Brendan, you said that we would get a Jonathan Taves goal. I don't believe that happened either.
No.
So we are cruising through last week's. I said that the Avalanche.
It wasn't a stretch considering how much they scored.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I hate to be that guy, but I'm the only one who gets a ding this week, and it's because I went negative like for the first time ever, and I said that the Avs would lose in regulation to the Penguins, which boy, oh boy, did they.
Yeah, I remember that.
So put me down for another point. That brings us to Jackie in the lead with 10, Ado and Ezra tied with 6 in second, Evan with 5, Brennan with 4. And that is where the standings currently sit. Let me roll the sponsor, and we will get your bold predictions for this week.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
I call that bold talk.
All right, this is Bold Predictions brought to you by Brews Ale House Brewing Company, located in the heart of downtown Pueblo, Colorado, in southern Colorado, right alongside the historic Pueblo Riverwalk. It's a beautiful setting and a delicious meal. If you find yourself in southern Colorado, please head on over there. They usually have the Avalanche games on. I know right now they are pouring them strong for St. Patrick's Day, which, by the way, happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you folks listening. Evan has his Dublin, Ireland shirt on. Good for you, Evan. You have passed the test. Be sure that if you go down there, you mentioned that Adrian Hernandez from Mile High Hockey sent you. They might give you a beer. They might also tell you to leave. Who knows? It's your choice. You will find out. But yes, Brews Ale House Brewing Company, located in Southern Colorado, brings us this segment where we give bold predictions and we will hand out buzzers or dings for the rights and wrongs of all of that. He's endofsignal.com says not going to be around for pods or much else after today. XOXO vaguely. Right on, End of Signal. Thanks for coming, at least for one episode. We appreciate you. Jackie, let's start with your bold prediction.
I wanted to do something around, I think it's funny that Altitude is whining that Nelson hasn't scored in a while. It's crazy how those shooting percentages go. But no, I'm going to take since it's all about the Dallas game, I'm going to say there'll be a fight.
Nice.
Is that bold
that
enough?
Is not your
different
style
for me. So there's going to be a fight. I guess it has to be recorded in the stats as a fight, not an extended scrum, which I despise.
As I say, like a 5 minute, 5 minute.
Yeah,
take it one step further, and who is it?
Nope. No. It's enough to maybe everybody missed Jack Drury getting in a fight. Probably had the game off by then, but we had a little garbage time fight yesterday. So
Josh Manson, Jamie Benn version 2. Let's do that one.
I'd prefer if it was something more unexpected, a little bit more entertaining, but
sure.
No, we'll leave that. We'll leave that one up to the team. But...
All right, fine, Jackie. Matt Duchene versus Nathan Mackinnon. How about that one?
Okay, that would be something. That would be different.
Both guys. That would be something else.
I don't think many punches would be thrown there.
yeah. Lots of wrestling going on in that exchange. Evan, what do you got for me this week?
Yeah, it's weird. We only got one game before our next pod, so I'm not sure what to do aside from this one. And if it's not bold enough, I guess let me know. Because the Avs and Stars, both games this year have gone to a shootout, right? And I think they both ended 5-4, if I'm not mistaken. So
sounds right.
They had high-scoring games and high-scoring opportunities. So I'm going to say again that there will be at least 8 goals scored in this game.
That's bold enough.
I think
me.
that's bold enough because I think it's going to go the other way. I think it's going to be like a 2-1, 3-1. So yeah, I think to say that they'll keep racking up the score. Sure, 8 or more. You said
8 or more, at least 8. At least 8.
Yeah.
Goals, so
well, not that I promote gambling or do any of it myself. Can you imagine if I did? But just to go look at the sports books to see the over/under is set at 5.5. So I say 8 is plenty bold.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I had them that low. Jeez.
Yeah. So there you go. Brennan, what about you?
I was going to actually go the opposite of Evan and say probably like a 2-1 win.
Ooh, that's exactly 2-1 win for the Avalanche.
Yeah, and I don't care who's in net. They just need to freaking get their crud together on that one.
Don't care who's in net. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that in there.
I mean, I'll be honest. That's part of the reason why I'm saying 8 or more goals is because.
It was an optional today. I'll put it this way: after the tail beating last night, it was an optional skate today, and both goalies were out there working.
Yeah. Checks out.
Well, they didn't play a whole game.
Yeah.
I'm sure that.
Splitting time. They're taking splitting time way too literal right now.
For the goalies themselves, it might have been optional. We'll put that in quotation marks.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Evan, I do want to double back to your season-long prediction, which is cruising towards a buzzer.
No, let's not. No. We can deal with that in April. Don't worry about it.
It's like if I would have picked Buffalo to miss the playoffs again, we'd be roasting me. So it's no big deal. You picked the team that had been missing. And maybe I think they made one like a few years ago, and then Crosby got hurt. So, but the Penguins look like they might be a playoff team, so you might be cruising for a buzzer there. Brennan, you have a Landy 30-goal season. I think you're cruising for a buzzer there.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
Jackie, you have Gerard has more points than Taves. That one is
Yeah,
very
we'll see.
interesting now.
Yeah,
We'll see about that. And my
And
season
Kibby
long.
Renta on Mackinnon's wing. I still got time.
Yes, that's right. My season long has already been buzzard, so just forget about me and that I exist. Ezra, who wasn't with us on the last episode and isn't with us on this one as well, as you can obviously see, we just want to wish him all the best right now and let him know that we're thinking of him. But he had a season long prediction that Colton spends more time at center than wing. Feels like that one's cruising for a buzzer.
I think he already conceded that one's probably not.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just, you know what, since he's not here to receive the buzz, I'm gonna do it while he's gone.
Don't like that.
Well, no, that way he doesn't have to witness it. He'll just pretend it never happened in his world. And so we won't get one hit from him this week. So far we have at least 8 goals in Dallas versus Colorado from Evan. Jackie says there's going to be a fight. Brennan says the Avs are going to win 2-1, and he doesn't care who's in it. They just have to figure it out. I'm going to go ahead and say that we get another Val Nichushkin X Factor night. Another
I like it.
offensive
I think
explosion.
I think he has had him against Dallas.
Yeah, and I think in this scenario, I'm not going to go with the patented Adrian hat-trick prediction. I'm just going to go with a 3-point night for Val Nichushkin. Is that bold enough?
Yeah.
I think so, because he's been quiet. I keep forgetting that he's on this team for the last few years.
I think he did have one good game. I think since they've been back, I think he had one.
He had a great game right after I said he might be traded. So maybe I should just do that more often. Yeah. So
yeah, I think the trade deadline took a load off of him. I think maybe it also helped Colton before he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I think they breathe a little easier.
Yep. Well, there you have it, folks. Those are our bold predictions. Be sure to send them in on your preferred social media platform. You can follow Mile High Hockey Lab on X at all caps MHH_lab. You can also follow Mile High Hockey itself on X at Mile High Hockey. We're also on Blue Sky and Instagram and TikTok. All of those fun things. Please head on over to those preferred social media platforms. But most importantly, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn your alerts on so that you know every single time we are live, which will be Tuesdays and Fridays at 3:45 p.m. Mountain. As long as the sun is in the sky and the waves are crashing, we will be talking Colorado Avalanche hockey. So unless you guys have something else to talk about, I think I'll end the episode today.
I don't know what you're talking about. The sun being up. It's East Coast down here. It's setting. So I guess we got to cut it quits here, I guess.
Yeah, we better hurry up.
You see the light getting darker in this room.
Yeah. I love it. Well, then I guess that will be it for us here at the Mile High Hockey Lab. This has been the 134th edition of the Mile High Hockey Lab. On behalf of my esteemed colleagues, Jackie K, Brennan Vogt, and Evan Liu, my name is Adrian Hernandez. Stay happy, Avalanche fans. And you know what? Happy St. Patrick's Day. Maybe get a cold one in you. Have a wonderful time and be safe. And until next time, go Avs.
Thank you for tuning into the Mile High Hockey Lab.